Hello, it's Layperson Lisa with a reflection on the readings for the commemoration of the faithful departed, also known as All Souls. So today we celebrate and remember the souls that are in purgatory. Yesterday was All Saints' Day. So yesterday was a celebration, a solemnity, the highest feast of the church, one of the highest feasts of the church, a solemnity, where we remember the saints. So whether they are canonized or whether they are people that were in our family here on earth that are now in heaven, everyone who is in heaven is a saint. And that's what we strive to be. And those who are in purgatory, they are on their way to heaven, but they need to go through a purification, because when they passed from this life to eternity, there was something still blocking them from being able to be in the presence of God face to face. And so it made me kind of reflect on the soul. So the soul is made up of three parts: the will, the intellect, and the passions. And the will and the intellect are on the higher level of the soul. And so this is what, if it is a well-ordered soul, these are the things that should direct our actions. But so often we have disordered souls, and our passions can have an influence over our will and our intellect. And when we have this disorder, then those passions could be keeping us from God. And so we have the opportunity on this earth to also be purified, to also detach from these things. And so it was interesting because a few days ago, I got a phone call, and it was somebody who was telling me how she has been helping people declutter their houses. She has helped people get rid of stuff that they don't need any longer. And she said, but I can't do that for my own stuff. And it's because she has an attachment to these things, right? So we have things in our lives that we are attached to in a disordered way, which is preventing us from decluttering our soul, if you will. And so this is an opportunity to reflect on what things in your life are maybe keeping you, are cluttering your soul. It's interesting because yesterday, the priest, last night for his homily, he was talking about how we wear costumes. He was tying in Halloween into his homily, and how we wear costumes just like the kids wear costumes on Halloween. And the sin and our disordered passions kind of cause us to have a mask in a lot of cases. They're preventing us from being who God truly calls us to be. And I know there's things that God has been working on in my life, on my soul, to detach from, things that I once had a passion for. So for instance, I used to be a huge Yankee fan. Like, I had almost every player's shirt number on a shirt with their number on it. My closet was just full of Yankee clothes, and I would travel around the country to see the Yankees play at all these different ballparks. My goal in life at that point in my life was to see the Yankees play at every American League ballpark. And I did that except for Boston, but I have been to Boston for a baseball game, just not a Yankee game, because those tickets were ridiculously high priced. But anyway, so I had a Yankee room. Like, I had balls, I had posters, I had hats, I had some autographed stuff. And I was talking to the woman who was telling me how she's having trouble detaching from these things, that as I've grown closer to God, I've realized that stuff is not important. It's not important to me any longer. And so I can detach from these things. I gave a whole bunch of my Yankee stuff away I was going to just donate it to charity, but I gave some of it to my nephews, and I held on to some of it, but it doesn't have that hold on me anymore. It doesn't have oh my gosh, this is my most prized possession. And so figuratively, what is what are you holding on to that is keeping you from God? What are you putting in front of him? For my goal to see the Yankees play at every American League ballpark, no, my goal should be to be a saint, right? To desire to be in heaven with God forever. And as my relationship has progressed, as I have spent more time in prayer and allowing myself to just fall deeper and deeper in love with God, those things just aren't important anymore. The material things aren't important anymore. So now it's God is working to purify my life in other ways, right? Oh gosh, you have an attachment to this, but it's hard to detach. It's a painful process. And so it's a way for us to detach while on earth, to be open, okay, Lord, I know you're allowing this. I know you're allowing this for my holiness. And so this is hard. This is painful, but I say yes to you, Lord, to detach me from these things, to help me to grow in virtue so that I may live a life of charity. Last week we talked about being a libation, so that I may be a flow of grace that is bestowed upon me from you and out to the world, a vessel of love. And so, this is amazing. So I was reading a book about St. John of the Cross and how he talks about mystical purgatory, which is the purgatory that we go through on earth when God is calling us to detach from worldly things. But the difference between mystical purgatory and purgatory in the after this world is that the mystical purgatory allows us to grow deeper in charity. Once we pass from this world and are in purgatory, then we can't grow in charity. And so when God is calling us to be purified on this earth, then that is a sign that is really a grace, is really a blessing, because he's calling us to grow deeper in love, as a deeper vessel of love for him, and to encounter him in deeper ways. And so what is your attachment in this that is keeping you from God during this time where we remember all the souls in purgatory and we pray and sacrifice and offer good works for them? Maybe God is calling you to be purified of something in your life right now.